Donald Trump has taken a dramatic action in the national capital. He's federalized the city's police force and has deployed 800 National Guard troops. Now, Trump says the capital has been overtaken by violent gangs, criminals, and homeless people. He's calling it a public safety emergency, viewers. Now, this marks the first time a sitting president has ever seized control of DC's police under these emergency powers. Critics, meanwhile, are calling the move dangerous and illegal. They're also pointing out that violent crime in DC is actually at a 30-year low, a 3-decade low. Meanwhile, Mayor Muriel Bowser says the action is unsettling and unprecedented, while Democrats are accusing Trump of using force to stir fear ahead of the election. On the other hand, Trump says more federal troops and even the military could follow suit. Meanwhile, listen into what the US president said, followed by a report.
I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs and homeless people, and we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it.
President Trump laid out plans to take control of the Metropolitan Police Department for at least the next 30 days and to deploy troops on the ground. This is in addition to about 120 FBI agents who have already been reassigned to work overnight shifts on the streets of D.C. Trump says that this show of force is necessary because, in his words, the U.S. Capitol has been taken over by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals. And he cited some recent high-profile incidents, including one of his former DOJ staffers who was beaten up earlier this month during an attempted carjacking, and also a 21-year-old congressional intern who was killed by a stray bullet back in June. The Metropolitan Police statistics, though, actually show that violent crime is down 26% from a year ago, plunging to a 30-year low. Local officials have pointed to this figure as proof that there is no emergency to justify this assertion of power, claiming that this is either a distraction tactic from the White House or it's about further cracking down on blue cities, perhaps using D.C. as the test case for other Democratic cities across the country. Either way, D.C. is not a state, so the federal government and de facto the president do have the authority to exert control like this, even though it has never happened before. Deploying military troops is also allowed, but exceedingly rare. It's usually only used during emergencies, things like riots, mass protests, or natural disasters. Although President Trump has done this before, most recently deploying National Guard troops and active duty Marines on the streets of Los Angeles to quell protests over his immigration policies. The other thing that Trump has vowed to do is to purge homeless people from the city. There are about 3,000 of these individuals, although he hasn't said exactly where these people will go, except to say far from the Capitol. Tony Waterman, NDTV, Washington.